What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're going to talk about the big boy Apocalypse. We have some juicy leaks, all thanks to Tauna with the kit of Apocalypse and big yikes. I'm not even sure what to think about this character so far, because we don't have all the information, right? We still don't have the stats of the character. We just have most of the kit, but is it the kit complete? We have no idea, but we are going to analyze the kit and see what is cool about the kit, what I would like to see different, and some synergies and combinations that we can already have in mind in case we want Apocalypse outside of the Horseman team. So we're going to take a look at everything, and I'm going to give you not only my first impressions but also some analysis of it. And as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share them with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button. Also, remember that this is all thanks to Tauna, so make sure you guys check out his channel. If you want data mines, if you want the latest leaks, this is where you're gonna find everything. Tauna is always looking in the data of the game to find out some juicy information of what's to come in Marvel Strike Force. Okay, so let's get started. Let's take a look at the kit, and I apologize, I'm a little bit sick. My allergies don't leave me alone, and it's hard to speak, so I apologize for any difficulty communicating that I might have. Okay, so I put all the kit together in just one picture, and I made sure to keep Tauna's face in the pictures and also the logo of his YouTube channel. Once again, make sure you guys check it out because he always has the latest rumors, the latest leaks, and the latest data mines about the Marvel Strike Force. Very important member of our community, and he should definitely get some appreciation for that. Okay, so let's get started. On the basic, he gains offense up and speed up for 1 turn. This is massive. We have characters like Nebula that are really good because of this mechanic that they get speed up on the basic and on assist chance, and this is going to be the same for Apocalypse. You can see right here, ISO 8 counter and assist is going to get offense up and speed up, making him a lot faster. Then the character is also going to heal himself up for 5% of the max health, which is nice but not as decent as L Steel, right? L Steel is superior, but at the same time, the spoiler alert, the character Apocalypse is going to have a counter mechanic, and that means that whenever he counters, he's going to heal himself. So it's I think this is to compensate the fact that he does not have passive healing like characters like Red Hulk or Omega Red. So it's really going to depend the team that you have together with Apocalypse, because depending on which team you have, this ability might activate more often or not. Keep that in mind. Okay, so when he does the basic attack and the counter, he's also going to have 100% drain. You can see right here, and the drain, it's not exactly drain, it converts damage into health. So here, because we have 100% drain, that means 100% of the damage you do is converted into healing. And so if you do like 40,000 damage, you are going to get 40,000 healing. Attack the primary target for 400% damage, so this is a big multiplier for a basic, and this attack cannot be blocked and is also unavoidable. So he's going to learn that, and he's always going to provide all that healing and additional healing and drain, which is great. This is going to give huge survivability to Apocalypse. Once again, is it as good as Omega Red? I'm not sure about that. We'll have to wait and see. Omega Red probably has the highest survivability in the game right now, and but yeah, Apocalypse is definitely, if not there, very close to there as well. Okay, so you can see that the multipliers for the ISO 8 counter and assist are slightly different. So instead of having 400% damage, it has 250 plus some piercing damage, which is great because all of this is going to benefit out of the drain. And as I mentioned before, Apocalypse is going to have a counter mechanic depending on which characters characters are next to him, and that means this ability will activate more often. So in terms of the basic, very powerful. It seems that he's going to be a striker, but he doesn't have to be a striker. He could also be a skirmisher, and he could also be applying vulnerabilities to the enemies if you feel like his focus is important. This might be an option for people with baby Apocalypse. For the longest time, most people will have just Apocalypse at 5 yellow stars, and it might be the case that his focus is not good enough. So based on that, you might use him as a skirmisher rather than a striker, but I think both options are good. Okay, so now we have the special, the first ability of Apocalypse, and it costs 6 energy, comes full. This is the ability you're probably going to use on the first turn. Attack the primary target and adjacent allies for 350% damage, piercing damage. If the target has defense up, attack again for 350% piercing damage. So you probably want to always attack characters with defense up, so you can do the double tap, because if the only target that matters to have defense up is the primary target. The attack gains 100% drain. So once again, Apocalypse is going to heal for the damage that he gives to the enemies, and this should count for all the enemies, not only primary target but also adjacent targets, and also for the secondary target, the secondary attack as well. Now we have this very important ability: apply +1 ability block to the primary target to a maximum of 2. So this is going to be massive, because depending on which character you are facing and which characters you have paired up with your team, this has huge value. So for example, if you have Apocalypse with Morgan Le Fay, she applies ability block for 1 turn, you can extend that ability block. This +1 means you can extend how many turns you have of ability block. If you have characters like Strife, that ability block for 2 turns, you can use this ability on the second turn or the third turn and extend that ability block for 1 additional turn. This is a very powerful ability. I think it's the first ever +1 ability block, and it really gives Apocalypse some viability with different characters, not just with the Horseman. Anyone that applies ability block and having it extended for 1 turn is really massive. Then it's going to redistribute the total health of your squad evenly. So this is like the Scarlet Witch special, where if you have a character with a lot of health, if you have a character on the reds with very low health, it's gonna balance out. But this will happen after you do this big attack with all the piercing damage and all the drain. So that means that you're gonna get him very high, and that means he's gonna push the other characters very high as well in terms of health. We'll see if it will be the case or not. It might have a different execution order, but if that will be the case, this will be great, because it will allow Apocalypse to heal other characters. Clear all negative effects on self and all Horseman allies, and 2 allies with the highest damage. So very cool. So Apocalypse has viability not only with the Horseman characters but also with other characters. And as I mentioned about Strife, you could also have Madeline Pryor, and if you have Apocalypse like replacing Mystique or replacing Emma Frost, that means that the 2 characters with highest damage is going to be Madeline Pryor and Strife. But we have no limitations here, so we can use Apocalypse with literally any character, even with the Pim Tech or with whatever characters, and all those benefits, they are going to be given to those characters as well. So you could even pair up Apocalypse with Doctor Doom and Dormammu and benefit out of this ability for those characters as well, which is definitely massive. This is very powerful. Now on top of that, we also have apply defense up to a maximum of 2, immunity and safeguard to self and Horseman allies, and also 2 allies with the highest damage. So this is huge. This is really huge. You could have Apocalypse together with the Gamma team. You could have Apocalypse together with the Gamma team and make your Hulk and your Abomination Striker, and have those characters also get the defense up, immunity and safeguard. This is really huge. like this, depending on the team you have, you could have Red Hulk, Hulk and Abomination all getting these buffs. This is insane. This is literally insane, the potential that you have with Apocalypse. Maybe this is too good, I don't know. I thought that he was going to have synergies only with mutants, but this takes Apocalypse to the next level in terms of theory crafting. You could pair him up with Bionic Avengers, you could pair him up with Gamma, you could pair him up with Unlimited X-Men, Astonishing X-Men, like any kind of characters, because it will always going to affect Horseman characters and the two allies with the highest damage. This is insane viability, and also in terms of theorycraft, it opens unlimited options. So I really like this part about the special of Apocalypse is very, very good. Definitely worth that 1 year wait. It had to be justified somewhere, and I think the special is definitely where it's going to be justified. Okay, now let's take a look at the ultimate. So the ultimate, you can see that it's going to have a cooldown of 10 and it comes with 8 energy. That means you can use the ultimate ability on turn 2. So with the ultimate ability, Apocalypse is going to clear all barrier from all enemies. Now, I don't really understand this because we don't have that many characters with a barrier going on right now. We have Darkhold, we have Unlimited, maybe, yeah, Unlimited with Dazzler. We have Bionic Avengers, but we don't really have like a super powerful team that has a lot of barriers. So I don't know, maybe this is going to be some case of future proofing for Apocalypse and making sure that any team that comes in the future with a barrier that is going to be able to deal with that. So beyond clearing the barrier, is also going to attack all enemies for 500% piercing damage, and is going to have 100% drain. So that means all the damage that he's going to give, it's going to heal himself for that amount. This is huge. This is huge. We have seen abilities like these with Thanos in the past. He also has drain on his ultimate, but 500% damage to all characters. That's gonna be a big yikes. That's a very big multiplier, and yeah, it's gonna hit hard. Okay, so after that, after he clears the barrier, after he does the damage, he's going to flip defense up and 2 other positive effects on each enemy. So this is huge. We have seen effects like this on the Dr. Octopus and also on Omega Red, and those effects are always amazing. This is always amazing. So on top of that, top of flipping the positive effects, he's going to apply trauma for 1 turn to each of the enemies. So that's going to mean all enemies. This is massive. This is going to give him huge viability in all game modes. It's really, really massive. And then he's going to get empowered. Now this empowered does not work the same way that Thanos work. It works more in the same way that what Captain Marvel and Kate Bishop works. So instead of calling him empowered, let's say that he gets a charge. I think that's the best way to approach it, is that he's going to get a charge and he's going to change one of his abilities, which is going to be the basic. So it's not really empowered. Let's not like overstate this, but it's more of a charge mechanic. So after you use the ultimate, which is available on turn 2, he's going to get a charge, which is going to change his basic attack, and that's pretty much it. So after he gains empowered, he's going to grant all Horseman characters 60% speed bar. This is going to be massive. This is going to be massive. In situations like Morgan Le Fay, we don't know the speed of Apocalypse for now, but Morgan Le Fay will use her ultimate. She's going to use her special. After her special, she has 100% turn meter, so she's going to use her basic, and then Apocalypse is going to give her 60% turn meter, which is going to allow her, Morgan Le Fay, to use her ultimate again. So this is very, very powerful, and unfortunately, it doesn't give him viability with other characters, but even on his own, I think it's just a massive ability. We still have all the damage, all the barrier, we have the flipping effects, we have the trauma, and so on. So this is just an extra that he gets with the Horseman characters. This is probably going to affect the most Arena, and maybe Cosmic Crucible, maybe Alliance Wars, if you decide to put Apocalypse on defense with other Horseman characters, which is great. And it's not limited to have all Horsemen, so you could choose to just have unlimited with Apocalypse instead of Phantom X, or Darkhold with Apocalypse instead of having Scarlet Witch, or having all the Horsemen together. It's up to you to decide what you want to do with this character, which I love. I really love the amount of flexibility that Apocalypse has in his kit. This attack cannot be blocked, cannot be countered, and is unavoidable, so there is no escape from Apocalypse Ultimate. Now let's take a look at the basic Empowered. So after use his ultimate, he gains Empowered or Charged or whatever, and you can only use this on turn 2. So the Empowered basic will only be available on turn 3, and from what I understand from Tauna's words, while he is empowered, you cannot use his special and you cannot use his ultimate, which is fine because both of those abilities should be on cooldown, unless you are using Apocalypse together with Captain America or Captain Sam or Star-Lord to give him energy. We don't know exactly how that's gonna work, but it seems, from what I understood from Tauna's words, is that the only ability that will be available while you are empowered is his basic attack. And when you do the basic attack, he's gonna steal 60% of that character's max health. 60%. Yikes, big yikes. So even if the characters have 4 million, like we saw in the tower, Dormammu had 4 million health, it's not gonna matter because Apocalypse is gonna steal 60% of that, which is massive. It's going to ignore death proof. That means even if the character has death proof, you can finish it with this ability. And this Empowered basic is going to be unavoidable and cannot be blocked. So instead of doing any kind of damage, you're just going to steal the enemy. So if you are facing low level enemies, this is not going to be a good ability. But if you are facing big health enemies like in tower, this is going to be a massive ability. After you steal the health, it's going to remove the Empowered. So to be honest, I'm not a big fan of this Empowered basic. It's kind of lame. I mean, it's okay, but it's lame at the same time. I don't know if you get me, you don't do any normal damage, you steal the health, so maybe this is gonna have some kind of different animation or something like that. But if you are forced to use this, do I really want to use this? Do I have to hold back on my ultimate to use this ability? I'm not sure about it. I'm not very happy with the way this basic Empowered works. It's nice, don't get me wrong, stealing all the health, but even if the characters have low health, if maybe they have 30% health or something, you cannot steal 60% of health of characters that only have 30% health. So it really depends on the situation. In some situations it might be great, in other situations not as good. Okay, let's move on to his passive. Okay, so taking a look at Apocalypse passive, this character cannot be revived. Well, what you're expecting. I guess that's the case for characters like Dormammu and Apocalypse. It's something that we can expect going forward. On spawn, gain immunity. Great. Enemies cannot gain immunity before this character's first turn. So this is going to be massive against teams that have immunity on spawn, but makes me wonder, Infinity Watch. They have immunity and safeguard on spawn. So is Apocalypse going to be able to stop Infinity Watch from getting immunity and safeguard? I'm not sure about this. Maybe it will work against characters like Bionic Avengers. Maybe this is the upcoming raid that we'll have in the future, where the Bionic Avengers will have immunity. Maybe it's in a situation like that, because on PvP, against the Darkhold, against the Infinity Watch, I don't think it makes too much sense stopping the enemies from having immunity. Maybe it's against Wakanda. Maybe they don't want Wakanda to get immunity in Cosmic Crucible. It could be something like that. But in some teams, I really don't see how this ability is going to work when both characters have abilities on spawn and one has safeguard and immunity, the other one stops immunity. So in my opinion, this is to stop Bionic Avengers in the future raids where you need where you need mutants against tech characters or something, or it's to stop characters like the Wakanda that also get immunity after spawn. Okay, so let's move on. After he does the stop immunity, he's going to get 50% max health, which is whatever. This is so irrelevant. Why not to put the max health in the stats directly? I always get confused by this situation. What's the point of this ability? Anyway, he's gonna get 10% more focus for horseman characters, tech characters, and mutant characters allies. So this gives him increased viability together with Marauders, together with X-Men, together with Astonishing X-Men, together with X-Factor, together with X-Force. Is going to get all this additional focus, which is going to allow him to flip positive effects on the enemies, to apply trauma, and also to apply ability blocks. So this is great. You definitely want to pair him up more often than not with tech characters, mutant characters, and horseman characters if you find it convenient. Then we have the counter mechanic that I talked about at the beginning of the video. 40% counter chance right away, but he's going to get additional counter chance per villain ally. This is why at the beginning of the video I mentioned the Marauders. They're all mutants, so they're all going to give the focus for Apocalypse, and they're also villains, so they're also going to give the counter chance to Apocalypse. So that means if you have Strife together with Apocalypse, he's both a mutant and villain, so Apocalypse is going to get additional focus and additional counter chance. If you have a full team of villains and mutants, he's going to get 40% additional focus and 60% additional chance of crit, or additional chance of counter, which will activate his basic abilities, which give him drain, health, and speed up and offense up. So you can imagine that together with villain mutants, Apocalypse is going to be a beast. So you could use him with Marauders, or you can use him with Death Seed to maximize this potential and to increase the value of some teams on Alliance Wars defense or Cosmic Crucible defense. When Apocalypse is stunned, clear the stun, clear heal block, and heal himself for 20% max health. So you can see that unlike characters like Omega Red and Red Hulk, Apocalypse does not have any healing on turn, so except in situations where he gets stunned. And that means that you really want to increase the amount of villains that you pair up together with Apocalypse, so he has all these counter attacks, and that will heal him. Instead of having the healing per turn, you want to rely on healing per counter. So this is very important when you're going to theory craft the teams in order to use Apocalypse to his full extent. Then we have Horseman allies and the Self are immune to speed up modifiers besides slow and speed up. So Tauna in his video said that this is going to stop Emma Frost, but the information that we have from previous experience, especially on Cosmic Crucible, is that this type of speed modifiers is like Ikaris and Cersei, and not like Emma Frost, because Emma Frost is not a speed modifier, she just reduces the speed of the enemies. Speed modifiers usually are the turning winds, and so speed modifiers like when Morgan Le Fay uses her special, that reduces the speed up bar of the enemies by 100%. That means that the Horseman characters and Apocalypse are going to be immune to that kind of shenanigans. So Eternals, bye-bye. Morgan Le Fay special on the Dark Gold team, bye-bye. Turning winds like from Rogue, that turning wind the enemies by 50%, that's going to be bye-bye as well. So I think the interpretation of Tauna here is wrong, that slow and speed up and Emma's passive is still going to work properly, but any kind of turning winds or turn forward, of course not turn forward because the enemies don't do turn forward, but turning winds from Morgan Le Fay, Ikaris, Cersei, and Cable as well. Cable is also a big deal against Apocalypse. It actually makes a lot of sense. Cable does the turn rewind with his special 50% turn rewind, so that's going to be massive, and Apocalypse and the Horseman characters are going to be immune of that, which is great. I really love that, and once again, it gives huge viability to Apocalypse, and it's going to make sure that you cannot cheese your way out Apocalypse on the arena meta. And so that's the key of Apocalypse. I think it's a very, very interesting character. Once again, big shout out to Towner for putting all of this information together, and keep in mind that this is not the final information. While this is a leak directly from the Scopely server, there might be some changes in the future because the kit might not be finalized. To be honest, I think it's a little bit early to have the kit finalized when we still don't know which are going to be the strike characters that are going to be required for Apocalypse. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. But once again, big shout out to Tana. Make sure to check out his YouTube channel for the latest leaks, data mines, and rumors. And that's going to be the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my analysis of Apocalypse kit, what I like about it, the synergies that I can already see together with other characters, and very excited for this character. Just a little bit disappointed with that empowered basic. I think it's not that great, but we will see when it comes live if it's going to be exactly like that or if it will have some improvements going forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Once again, big shout out to Tana. Make sure you guys check out his channel, and if you guys found the information on this video helpful, make sure you guys share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.